Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court Podcast host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Balls Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here. Mr. Paul Mack. Good evening. I'm not freezing, right? I'm good.
You're good, bro. You're good. Take 4. Let's go.
Hey, you ain't lying. Take 4. Happy Tuesday evening to everybody. Mr. Mack, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. It's like the old days, bro. Just the two of us. Just the two of us on a Tuesday.
Hey, just two of us on a Tuesday, man. We already know football. We kind of got a tight window. We have to be either doing this Tuesday or Wednesday. So,
if every week is how this past week has been, lots to talk about, buddy. Lots to talk
about. Absolutely. So, hey, man, well, as you right, let's get right into it, man. So we'll start out with Thursday night football. We had the Bills defeat the Dolphins 31-10. And, I mean, a lot of stuff happened in this game here, and that being Tua, his play, and then the injury that resulted in the concussion. He went to scramble, and next thing you know, he had his head pretty much face first into Damar Hamlin's chest and went down and was pretty much concussed and was told off the field. So
immediately concussed. Like, that guy has some of the scariest concussions I've ever seen.
Yeah, man. So Skylar Thompson came in, and pretty much the game just well, I mean, the game was already kind of out of reach anyways, but it didn't really help that your ace quarterback that the Dolphins had went down. So, your thought about that game in general and Tua's concussions and what he's been through, and
I mean, Tua concussions aside, Miami just can't beat Buffalo. I don't know what it is. Buffalo is not the team that they have been the last few years. They lost a lot of pieces to that offense. No more Gabe Davis, no more Stephon Diggs. James Cook at running back. It's just crazy that no matter who you throw in there, as long as they got Josh Allen and a damn good defense, that Miami's going to struggle. Miami being at home, I thought would have helped, but I mean, they were getting booed out of the stadium late in the second quarter. I mean, their offense was non-existent. It boiled back into what we talked about last week with Miami's offense and how, Jacksonville kind of let them hang around, and then the big plays started happening, and the next thing you know, you're losing the game. Buffalo got in front, didn't change the game plan. They pounded the rock on the ground. I mean, James Cook had 3 touchdowns. They weren't changing their identity. They were getting pressure on the quarterback. They were being physical with those fast wide receivers, and that shows you the difference. Like, Buffalo has the blueprint to match up with the Dolphins, and you jump out to a 24-10 lead. That's a pretty big lead going into the half. So that's the blueprint you want to see. You're not going to win. You're not going to beat Miami kicking field goals. You're not going to beat Miami not getting the ball in the end zone. I mean, similar to some of the other stories we see, if I told you Josh Allen was 13 of 19 for 139 and only one touchdown, you would have thought Miami ran him out of the arena.
Yeah, 100%, man.
But the fact that James Cook ran for 78 yards, he had 2 touchdowns. He was the one receiving touchdown. It wasn't pretty by any means, but they got the ball in the end zone and they kept Miami out.
Yeah, man. No, that game was just all around. Miami you was hoping that they would make a statement, and we had a discussion even on previous podcasts about Miami winning the big game. It just feel like that whole – you remember like that whole Aaron Rodgers play the Bears, and like kind of that whole what Aaron Rodgers did to the Bears fans, like I own you. This is what I feel like with Josh Allen and the Miami Dolphins. Like no matter who he has, and Miami, as we thought on paper, seemed like the more talented team. Just didn't come to that way. And as you mentioned, James Cook was just was all over the place pretty much. And to my point I was going to make before we get back onto a concussion is, the Bills pretty much have to win games this way. Like they have to run the ball, and they have to use James Cook being the workhorse. And kind of similar where you went on this podcast a few weeks ago, but me and Kevin kind of agreed like James Cook and Josh Allen kind of got to mimic what Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry's going to do, but just kind of like the other way, because Lamar Jackson is finesse and Josh Allen is physical, as opposed to James Cook is more kind of finesse outside on the pretty much on the tackles, and he need to run out that way and be in the perimeter and get space. Not really gonna run between the guards and the center and stuff like that. That's not where his strength is. So with them, James Cook last year had around 1,100 yards, and he had about 5 yards per carry. He needs to get around at least 1,300 and really kind of spare Josh Allen a little bit. I don't know how far they can go. I mean, this is a decent start for them. Like you mentioned earlier, that they lost a lot of pieces, so they really have to win this way, where they have to win time possession. It's got to be runs here, kind of nitpick here, hoping big plays there. Really trying. Josh Allen has been known to be turning the ball over from time to time, so he's really got to make sure that the turnovers are at least at a minimum for them to sustain this. Maybe, and I know it's 2 weeks in, but this is what we do, man. This maybe the AFC East is more for Buffalo to take right now, because Aaron Rodgers still got to get his legs under him. The Pats had a big surprise win in Week 1, and in Miami, well, now who many thought would win a division, they brought in Tyler Huntley, came out the practice squad. And he's going to be the quarterback. So I'm just wondering what's your thoughts about something that maybe the Bills can kind of sustain, or what you see in the Bills is this?
It ends up being the same song and dance. Like even last year, we mentioned how Miami, Buffalo's window was closing, and last year was Miami's chance to kind of take the reins of the AFC East. And yet here's Buffalo just still doing what Buffalo's got to do. I mean, they're the opposite of a lot of these teams that we see because of how they play, because of how physical they are. They won a squeaker against the Cardinals in Week 1. Mm-hmm. And then they come out and put up 31 on the Miami Dolphins. They probably much rather play that, ground them out, beat them up kind of game, the way their offense is built, the way their defense is built. Von Miller looked great. First time in a couple of years. He's healthy. And it's just the thing of, I think with Miami, and you kind of saw it early on too, when they get down, Mike McDaniels, he almost outcoaches himself. Like I feel like he just starts doing things that gets the fans they're not engaged anymore. Like he just makes weird play calls. He's throwing weird little screens. He's trying to get the big plays. And when those plays aren't working, their offense, is average at best. I mean, especially with a healthy Tua. I mean, Tua is a very timing-based quarterback, and you saw the throws he was making early in that game. Like the moment his timing is disrupted, the Bills were locking down Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, so they were trying to throw the ball to Robbie Chosen and some other guys that they're not going to make plays. You'll live with those guys making plays on you, but they don't have the timing with Tua that Waddle and Tyreek Hill have. So you can see where he was off. Throws one ball high, throws one ball off a guy's shoulder pad, throws a little bit too early. So that's the thing. And obviously, I think with Miami, it hurts not having Mostert. I mean, Mostert led the league in touchdowns last year, or tied for the league. So that's a big workhorse for you to not have. So you can't really make excuses, but Miami at full strength might be a little bit different. But I just think that Buffalo showed you the blueprint on how to beat the Dolphins. You have to get on them early. You got to pressure the quarterback. And now that they don't have a quarterback, Miami's whole trajectory is kind of different right now. It's going to be interesting to see going forward because what they do with Tua, how they handle that situation. I mean, it's rough going forward for the Miami Dolphins. And where you started this season with the highest of expectations and the highest of, possibilities at a AFC, representative in the Super Bowl, now you're potentially battling with the Patriots for the worst team in the division.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. So back on Tua. This is 2 of 4 concussions in the last 6 years. The first one to memory was a game against Mississippi State during the 2019 season. He took a sack that resulted in a concussion, broken nose, and dislocating his hip. This is his third concussion within the past 3 years on a recent Thursday night football game. As I mentioned, scrambling, lowering his head, lower into the Bills safety, Damar Hamlin. So what's your take on this, and what's your advice or what's your thoughts on this whole Tua concussions thing? I know a lot of people have been out saying maybe he need to retire, and Tua then came out and said he's not planning on retiring. And what's your 2 cents on this, Paul?
I mean, I think you have to be careful. Obviously, I mean, he's still really young. He has a whole life ahead of him. And you're a guy. You played football. You've been around football. It wasn't even that bad of a hit. Like He kind of went down. His head went into Damar Hamlin's chest. Like that hit happens all the time. It wasn't like he got hip drop tackled, spun around, head bounced off the turf. Like it was just like he went in, he tried to lower his shoulder, helmet caught someone's chest, and then he was literally unconscious. So, some of the other concussions he's had have been like big hits. Like it's, he hits the ground, his head is hitting something. But if he's getting rattled like that, like it's cause for concern. Like, I mean, if I'm the Dolphins, like, do I want the liability of just putting him through protocol? They have 10 days before their next game. Like, there's absolutely no way he's playing in their next game. There's no shot.
Yeah, he's already ruled out.
But at what point do you try to bring him back? I mean, if you lose next week, do you necessarily rush him back? Like, it's just one of those things where, like, you have to handle that so carefully because not only is a young man's, life in your hands, but it's gonna look at how you view the franchise. Like, I remember when 2 years ago when he got concussed in the middle of a game, they brought him over to a tent and just sent him back out there. And Miami got scrutinized so much. And that's part of why they brought in all these, third-party doctors. And then they're no longer team doctors evaluating these guys when they have concussions because of stuff like that. Like, they literally have to get looked at by a legit, unbiased medical professional to prevent these things from happening. And, if I'm the Dolphins organization, you just gave Tua a lot of money. I get it. You just paid him a whole lot of money. But if he's not going to retire, then you have to protect that investment and let him know, like, hey, man, you need to pack it in. We need to run some tests. We need to figure out what the deal is, because it's less about the money at this point, and it's more about that this guy's got a family, he's got kids, he's got all kinds of stuff going on, and you don't want that on your hands, man. You don't want to throw a guy out there who's literally a liability in a game that involves contact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would just be very, very careful with that situation.
And you already know, Tua, being the competitor that he is going to want to play. Most of these football players are going to want to play. You just, with this one here, like you said, it was freakish. But at the same time, I know most quarterbacks are taught to slide. I don't know. It just seemed like Tua was just trying to make the play because his team is down, and just unfortunate, man. And I know if a lot of us that was on Twitter and X, Tua was getting pretty much criticized the whole game on social media about the way he was playing, because a lot of people was expecting Miami to win, unless you're a Bills fan, and a few ones that really believe that Miami just can't get over the hurdle with the Buffalo Bills. But it's unfortunate, man. Like you said, this man's life is more precious. You hope that doctors and teams and himself will take this more seriously, and at the end of the day, it's about quality of life. And so you hope that going forward, that this young man really do take care of himself.
And I think that's the thing too, is him being the competitor that everybody says he is. Nick Saban speaks up for him. Everyone that he played with in Alabama, everywhere says how much of a competitor this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
There was no doubt that the reason he was trying to set the tone on that run, like he was going to run through DeMar. He was going to run through whoever was in front of him. It just weirdly happened that it was DeMar Hamlin, who we all know that history.
Yep.
But it's just he was trying to set the tone to get his team going. He was trying to be the catalyst for something, and knowing that, which you want from your quarterback, like Josh Allen would make that play 10 out of 10 times. Josh Allen is going to lower his shoulder. He's probably going to try to hurdle whoever's in front of him to get his team going. And knowing that Tua pretty much has, spam and eggs for brains right now, it's scary, because he can't do the things that he wants to do. It's like when we get older, man. Like we want to go play basketball with the youngins, man, but our knees hurt. We can't do it anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like we want to. We think we can. We're going to try. Let's believe we're going to be on the shelf for 2-3 days afterwards. Our body and our mind are two totally different things. And Tua has the mindset that he can still do all these things he was doing in college and early in his career, but his body is just not allowing him to make those plays anymore. So you have to be real, real careful.
100%, man. Good stuff on that, Paul. Let's move on to our next segment. I want to ask you, there was a bunch of, as we seem to deem, disappointing loss. Now, it's all for interpretation, which is a disappointing loss. But based on Cortez's definition of disappointing loss, and Paul might disagree, and that's okay, what I thought was a disappointing loss with these four teams, and maybe Paul can add if there was something that was on this list, maybe there was a more disappointing loss. But the question being, was the most disappointing loss out of the 49ers, Cowboys, the Ravens, or the Eagles? Or is it other, like I said, and maybe it's somebody I didn't pick on this list, but Paul, your thoughts on who was the most disappointing loss in week 2?
Well, if we do a recap, I'm pretty sure I picked the Saints to beat the Cowboys. That doesn't surprise me. The Falcons, they're a tough football team. You know what I mean? But for me, it's the 49ers are kind of weird right now, but they don't have Christian McCaffrey, so I'm not gonna critique them too bad. But Debo got hurt too, so he's gonna miss some games. Their whole team's kind of beat up right now. But Brock Purdy's got to play better. I think that boils down to it, is he's done absolutely nothing these first 2 weeks of the season. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, Baltimore Ravens, man. Like the Baltimore Ravens, I'm going to beat that drum into the ground every single week until they play the way they're supposed to play. I know I had a big, long, rambling rant last week about the Baltimore Ravens, but they're all smoke, man. They can't win close games. They can't hold a lead. Same problem as last year. Same fucking team. They don't know how to use Derrick Henry. They don't know what they're doing with Derrick Henry. Another week where Lamar Jackson has over 300 yards of offense by himself. Guy has like 700 yards of total offense in 2 games and only 2 total touchdowns. What's it all for? Like what is Baltimore doing? Like Baltimore is having problems that they're lucky that teams like the Bengals are struggling a little bit, and Pittsburgh's not great, but they're still Pittsburgh. So like we got to worry about them. They're always going to be flirting around 500. They're always going to be a tough team to go play. They play defense. Justin Fields ain't playing too bad, but if you're Baltimore, like you have to figure it out now, because we've seen this out of the Bengals. The Bengals have been 0-2 for the last 5 years. Every season they start off 0-2. It's not new. Then they start to figure it out. They start to get healthy. Things happen. But if you're Baltimore and you bring in Derrick Henry and you do all these things that are like, oh, we're so much better than we were last year, and now you're 0-2 and you just lost at home to the Raiders?
Right.
That's tough, man. That's a tough loss. And I think that's the kind of loss that really exposes the Ravens. So they need to kind of go and look at themselves and think about what kind of offense they're going to run, because clearly Lamar Jackson putting up astronomical numbers by himself isn't going to do it for you. Clearly their defense isn't what it was. I know they lost they lost a couple linebackers and stuff. They lost some key guys to that defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Gardner Minshew was 30 of 38 for 276. Like, you can't have Gardner. I mean, mind you, Devontae Adams did what Devontae Adams is supposed to do. He straight took the game over in the fourth quarter. He was making plays when he had to make plays. But, if you look at the stats, I mean, the Raiders only ran for not even 30 yards. Literally, it was just an air raid from Gardner Minshew, and the rookie Brock Bowers was been phenomenal as well, rookie tight end.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Ravens just got exposed again, and it's just Lamar Jackson 247 yards passing, 45 yards rushing, only 1 touchdown. It's tough. Like you have to score points when you're moving the ball like this. They're moving the ball. Clearly, they have no problem moving the ball. They have a hard time getting it in the end zone. And if you can't get it in the end zone, you're going to have a lot of close games. And if you have a lot of close games, I don't trust Baltimore in close games.
Valid point. And this is what you mentioned with the Ravens. They was up 16-13 going to the fourth, and then Henry ran in the middle and go at 23-13 with 12 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game. And as you mentioned, the Ravens just don't do well in the close game. So they need to really figure out how to use Derrick Henry, especially when you're in the red zone and he does some time. And it's with that combo between Henry and between Lamar Jackson, there needs to be more. And this is what you picked Derrick Henry up for. I didn't expect the Ravens to be 0-2. Right here, I definitely thought they would have bounced back against the Raiders. As you mentioned, is definitely a tough team. It seemed like Gardner Minshew, where he has been, he's been fairly competent at times. 7 assists with Indy when he played with Anthony Richardson, who had an injury last year. In Jacksonville, he had his moments as well. So it just seemed, and I was on the fence like, why is he starting over Aiden O'Connell? But because they want to go young and see what happens with that particular player. But they still believe that O'Connell needs more development. So this is why they went the route that they did by starting Minshew. So I'm with you on that, because I'm looking at also. I watched the Eagles and the Falcons game last night. I know the fan of you in the NFC East that roots for a particular team in the NFC East. You see all these other teams struggling.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When the Eagles were up and they were in field goal range, I figured the game was over. I assumed they were going to get the first down, run out the clock, game was over. And then before I went to bed, I saw the alert on my phone that said, "What happened?" And I couldn't believe it. So go ahead.
Yeah, you had a good smile on your face, huh? No, literally, because I turned off the game and I was meet up some friends, at the bar down the road. And I'm like, oh, this game over with. And I get there, I'm like, this game is still on. And then I saw the Hurts pass to Saquon was incomplete. And I'm like, oh, this is still a game. And I'm like, then they show that stat with like Kirk Cousins, this many comebacks. I forgot the exact stat that they showed on ESPN, but it was very, very good on him winning games and like the last drives leading up to get to go to overtime. And as soon as I saw that pass, the first pass go out, I was like, uh-oh, they're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the way they did it, man, it was like 8 plays in a minute and 5 seconds, 70 yards. And the captain out with Drake London, who had a foolish celebration doing the shoot. It's like, come on, man. Lucky you got a good kicker that made that. So I'm like, why? But for the most part, I get it. That was a surreal drive. Like, this is why you pay Kirk O'Chains $180 million. Because he do stuff like that. As much as we Kirk Cousins is pretty much, he's one of those in that tier where he's not like elite, but he's like borderline. It's hard to describe Kirk Cousins. He's going to do this for you, and he's going and compared to what they had in Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota in the past in the Falcons, it's definitely 110%. It's an upgrade.
I mean, Kirk's always been one of those guys. Like, he's got the dog in him. You know what I mean? Like, he's never really had great teams throughout his career. But,
which is fair.
He plays hard. Like, he plays hard, and he's a guy that you want the ball in his hands. If you had to make a 2-minute drill down the field, he's smart. He makes the right decisions. It doesn't help that Philly's defense looked god-awful. I think Kirk Cousins literally had 29 dropbacks and was pressured 0 times. They couldn't get to the quarterback at all last night.
Wow. Yeah. So that to me is, those are the two in there, but the Ravens one was just bad. But Hurts, then he tried to come back and lead the drive, and typical Jalen Hurts, interception.
I don't have to lie to you. When I found out Saquon dropped the game-winning pass, I smiled.
Just a little bit, right?
He could have all the yards he wants, but I smiled real big that day. I said, "Oh man, Saquon out of the backfield with a drop," because he had a similar one of those on the Giants like last year or the year before. So I'm used to that. But
hey,
we're here, baby.
There you go. I know you grin a little bit. So, hey, let's talk about these rookies, man. So, no rookie quarterback through 2 games, at least the ones that are in rotation and playing, has yet thrown for a touchdown this season. No rookie quarterback has, in week 2, has only 3 combined rushing TDs through 2 weeks. And that's 2 with Jaden Daniels and 1 with Bo Nix. So, give me a song title that describes the rookie quarterbacks to start this season. I can go first. I got one in my head right now.
Go ahead.
So, it's a hard not life, man. It's hard. Like, and listen, I do think that Jaden Daniels is probably going to be the cream of crop because I like his game and I like the way that he's playing. And right now he's got 410 yards. And he's only have 13 incompletions. He's 40 to 30, 40 out of 53. Caleb Williams, it's going to take some time. But the thing with Caleb Williams, he's got a lot of talent around him. And it's just going to take time to mesh.
He probably has the most talent around him of all these rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah. Bo Nix, I can tell you, listen, just going to be patient, let the man develop. I know a lot of my friends are telling me and stuff. I'm aware of Bo Nix play in Auburn, but I'm also aware of what he did in Oregon too. But I'm being cautiously optimistic with Bo Nix. But I'm going to tell you, when you got Javonte Williams, my guy, I love Pookie, man. And the running game is non-existent. He's throwing past to our tight end that we got from UCLA, Greg Dulcich, who can't make a catch. We cut our only deep threat in Tim Patrick that the Broncos had. It's really not much Bo has right now. And some of this is on him. I go breaking down. I want to say this against the Steelers and Broncos game. I can do it now, whatever. He had a pass in the end zone where the ball was moving, and it was like a really good drive. I got to listen to this on radio at work because I'm working on Sunday. So I kind of pulled the game on radio and just kind of listened to it. And they was driving. They was moving the ball very well. Cortland Sutton had a good pass down there, and then once he get to the end zone, he forced it, misread, and intercepted. So this is one of those rookies. Listen, you play against second string in the preseason, and then listen, those at the end of the day, those are good reps that are valuable to your development. You need to kind of fill it out. This is what NFL speed is particularly can be. It's a different animal, man. It is a different animal. So, but I was surprised. I at least thought Jaden Daniels would at least have a passing touchdown already. And at least Caleb Williams, I thought he for sure would have had a few. I'm just stunned, man, that through 2 weeks that we got 3 of these rookies, man, don't have a passing touchdown. So, but their time will come. Their time will come. So I'll let you go ahead and get in your segment. What you think about it, Paul?
If I had to put a song behind these rookie quarterbacks, it would be "I Can't Make You Love Me."
Because solid choice.
They're making it hard right now. And if you're the Bears, you had high hopes, you had high aspirations. Everybody made a big deal about Caleb Williams, letting Justin Fields go. And the way it looks right now is that was probably one of the most lateral moves of all time. That you didn't get better at all. You just literally are in the exact same spot you were last year. So you could have probably kept Justin Fields and use that draft pick to get yourself some really good assets, because they got good this offseason. They got Keenan Allen. They got what's his face too. They got DeAndre running back.
Yep.
They already have more on the other side. They got Cole Kmet, real good tight end. They still have Khalil Herbert as well. So they got 2 good backs. Defense is really good. You could have gotten some pieces that could have made you kind of take it to the next level with all that's happening. Instead, you draft Caleb Williams, you trade Justin Fields, and you are literally in the same spot you were last year, which is crazy because obviously Caleb Williams probably has a much higher ceiling. It's only been 2 weeks. We'll see. But as far as the other rookie quarterbacks, I don't think Bo Nix has a lot there though. So it's kind of tough. He doesn't have a lot of weapons around him. Obviously, even someone like Cortland Sutton, like his touches were kind of going down towards the end of last year too. He's not the same big play guy that he was a couple years ago. But he's probably the most pro-looking quarterback. Like I think there's a lot there. His size, the way he plays, he's mobile. He's gonna make plays like he did last week. Those are gonna happen.
Yeah.
You have to take those as they come, especially if he's gonna be your guy. He has the C on his chest. They've already made him a captain. They're all their faith is in him.
They're all in on him. Yeah.
They're all in on Bo Nix. So you're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off, and I think he'll figure it out. It's him coming from Oregon. He knows ball. He knows a pro style offense. So we'll see. I mean, at least he has a rushing touchdown. I mean, that's more than Caleb Williams got.
Yeah.
So, there is that. But at the same time, everyone can get lucky and play the Giants and just literally win a game with field goals. About the only team you could probably beat in the NFL by kicking field goals, them and the Carolina Panthers. You don't need touchdowns to beat them. So as long as your rookie quarterback's not making any mistakes, you could probably beat the Giants. So there's that to look forward to. But yeah, man, it's 2 weeks. it's weird seeing this many starting rookie quarterbacks this early. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, man. Nah, I agree 100%. It's one of those that get kind of forged into the fire. So we'll see how they bounce back. So quick breakdown of the Bengals-Chiefs game. Chiefs kind of won. There's a lot of I don't know that there was a lot of banter about pretty much to go ahead and was it a pass interference call on the catch or not? And
it was a typical Bengals Chiefs game, man. They always end like this.
Pat Mahomes didn't look his best that game. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 151 yards on the 18 completions out of 25 attempts. So just a weird game all around, but one of those weird games that the Chiefs found a way to win. Their defense is just all over the place. They held the Bengals rushing game, as I know you mentioned the prior week. I think their running backs combined only had 50 yards.
Yeah, Zach Moss ain't gonna do it for you. No offense to Zach Moss, but he ain't Joe Mixon.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on and talk about who's invited to the barbecue. Player of the week. Who did you like? What did you like? What did you see? And what are you making this particular player?
This is an easy one. This is an easy one for me. Let me
who
pull it
you
up
got?
real quick.
While you pull it up, you want me to go ahead and do mine?
Yeah, go ahead and do yours.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and shout out to Mr. Kyler Murray, 428 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr., like a reincarnation of his dad, had 116 rushing yards. This dude has been criticized, and the Cardinals are pretty much going to be the worst in the division, and yet here they are, very competitive. Of course, they bring out the memes of Kyler Murray where he barely is kind of like this, with a short meme next to Marvin Harrison Jr. there. But, yeah, man, I've been impressed with him so far, the way he's bouncing back. Just for him, he just got to stay healthy and make sure that he really just see what they can do, man. This is what football's all about. 1 year it's a down year. Next year, there could be a wild card team and could make some noise. And the Rams are like they're struggling, and the 49ers dealing with injuries, and Seattle, they're kind of hit or miss sometimes. So maybe Arizona can make some noise in this division. Just a week 2 overreaction. But
they played Buffalo real tight. I mean, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, no, they are. So kudos to Kyle Murray, and he's out there in Arizona. What can we put this man on the grill? I'm going to go ahead and actually get this man some. Let's go with some really grilled chicken, some coleslaw.
Some really grilled chicken.
Yeah, some really grilled chicken with the grill marks on it. And I'm gonna get this man. Yeah, he likes some banana pudding, so we'll go some banana pudding for Kyler Murray. Run stuff. I gotta run to the pantry, man. I run out of stuff to make for these players, man.
Just give him the most light skinned barbecue I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm low in the pantry, man. I gotta run out and get some stuff, man.
All right. I respect it.
All right, who's invited to the barbecue?
For me, it was great to see. It made my whole weekend. Alvin Kamara.
Ooh.
Guy's been hurt a lot the last few seasons. He finally appears to be back to his old self. 4 total touchdowns. Damn near almost 200 yards of total offense in a New Orleans rout of the Dallas Cowboys. 44-19.
Saying that, huh? Make you smile saying that.
44-19. But it's just great to see that. He's a guy who has really been dealing with a lot of injuries, and for him to come back in a game like that, that offense kind of just clicking, with the weapons that they have, with Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave, Jamal Williams, Taysom Hill even had some carries, but knowing you have all those weapons around Derek Carr, who is showing he's a good quarterback. He just was on the Raiders, just kind of rotting away, and now he's on a healthy New Orleans team. In the first 2 weeks of the season, this team scored over 70 points in the first 2 weeks. I mean, they are putting up offense. So, and unlike these other teams that are putting up yards, they're putting up points. And that's the big difference, is New Orleans showing that they can get the ball in the end zone. And Alvin Kamara is a big part of that. So just kudos to Alvin Kamara. We're in New Orleans, so I probably wouldn't barbecue. Probably get a nice big old pot of some gumbo, something like that.
That'll work.
He's the kind of guy that he probably enjoys him some Henny, so I'll probably give him some Henny too. He gets turned. He gets turned up real good.
Man,
my man's
light skin. Man, you talking about light skin? You went dark skin for that one. The Hennessy. Hennessy, pure white on that one. I hear you, man. Hey, all good, man.
I almost brought some of that pure white back from me when I went to the Bahamas. It was cheap over there.
Oh, I bet, man. Mm-hmm. I bet it was.
That's the official drink of the Bahamas, that Henny Pure White.
All right, man. Well, Paul, your segment's coming up here. This guy stinks. You got this guy, or do you got a particular individual or team? Or
I mean, before, I beat up Daniel Jones pretty bad last week. But let me just say that the New York Giants this week showed you how important a field goal kicker can be. Graham Gano got hurt early in that game, didn't finish that game, so they literally couldn't kick field goals. They couldn't kick extra points. So that's tough. I'm not making excuses, but shout out to kickers. Kickers are important. And as you'll know, when you're in close games, you want to have a kicker. So, I'm proud of my Giants. They fought. They actually got the ball in the end zone. Malik Neighbors got his first career touchdown, so the future is bright, hopefully. But to kind of go back on what we were talking about before, about rookie quarterbacks, Caleb Williams. And I wouldn't be so hard on young Caleb Williams if there wasn't memes and photos going around of this guy getting drafted and texting his punter saying, "We ain't going to be punting a lot this year. Don't worry." Meanwhile, through 2 weeks, you are yet to put the ball in the end zone. With all the, like we said before, with all the weapons you have around you, Keenan Allen, stud. Moore, stud. Cole Kmet, great tight end. 2 decent running backs out of the backfield. A really good defense is going to keep you in field position most of the time. You're going to get the ball a lot of times with pretty good field position. And for you to yet to be able to get the ball in the end zone, averaging 4 yards of completion, you've been sacked 9 times in 2 games, and you've thrown 2 picks, no touchdowns, that's rough. The fact that they got a win in week 1 is crazy. But, the arrogance of just coming out, and I mean, I get it. You have to have some bravado. You have to have these things that you want kind of out of your guy who's going to take over the helm of your starting quarterback, and he's going to do all these things, and he's the future, and he's the franchise, and people love a guy who has confidence. But to tell your punter, your rookie punter, that, hey man, you got the easiest job in the league. We ain't gonna punt. You might not punt, but you better buy your field goal kicker something real pretty, because he's keeping y'all in football games because you were struggling to get the ball in the end zone. And You saw it. You saw it last night. There was a play towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. He had Moore wide open on the sideline, missed it. Moore took off his helmet, slammed it on the ground. Like, he looked visibly upset. These guys are trying, and my man just can't make a play. So it's only through 2 weeks, but the Bears they had their own little show on HBO. They were the whole Hard Knocks thing. I know there's like some kind of Hard Knocks curse, and teams who play on Hard Knocks typically don't do that well. They went undefeated in the preseason, so that didn't help them either. They carried a lot of high hopes coming in. But if you're the Bears, like I said before, you're starting to think if Caleb Williams is that much better than Justin Fields right now, and if you would be in a better position if you had Justin Fields, seeing what Justin Fields is doing in Pittsburgh. So, Caleb Williams, it's only been 2 weeks, but
oh, brother, this guy stinks.
all I gotta say.
Hey, can I add to this guy stinks segment?
Yeah, please.
I gotta go with this team stinks.
Yeah, let's go.
And it's the Carolina Panthers.
Let's go.
You have not set up Bryce Young for success. You traded DJ Moore. You traded a 23 first-round pick, became 9th overall. 23 second-round pick, became 61st overall. A first-round 2024 first-round number 1 overall pick. That is now who Paul just mentioned, who is this guy stinks candidate this week. And a 2025 second-round pick. I know we talked about the rookie quarterbacks, and we see 3 of them starting. I'm just on the fence of why are we putting these quarterbacks in these particular situations early. And I know it's the pressure to make sure, hey, we got to get our franchise. There's pressure to get back to where we are or get to where you need to go. But, man, you just really – and some of this is on Bryce. Bryce need to make better decisions as a quarterback, but you catapult him to this position. And, unfortunately, now Andy Dalton is going to start in week 3, and you make the decision to bench your quarterback, who I'm pretty sure his coming is all in the dumps right now.
Oh, yeah.
So it just sucks to see that the incompetence of the Carolina Panthers, who at one time was a respectable franchise. So, in that words, Carolina Panthers, you really stink. And I'm hoping when I go see my Broncos play y'all, October 27th, don't lose to them, Broncos, after I do this segment, because Paul and everybody else are going to have a field day. So that's my rant I want to kind of release on that.
Yeah, it's tough when literally yesterday about CJ's their guy. Bryce Young's their guy. And then they come out today and now he's not starting. Tough.
Unfortunate. All right, let's get into the week 3 picks. And I know I'm using Firefox, so let's see if I use Google Chrome. And this is let's see if I can allow this. Nope, it's being weird. All right, so usually I display it. Thanks to Google Chrome and Firefox, I gotta do some stuff to allow some settings. Is that my phone or your phone?
I'm trying to stop it, but it's pushing everything to my.
No, it's all good, man. No worries. Fun stuff. All right, so let's get into Thursday night game. We got the Pats at the Jets. This is 8:15 on Prime Video. So who you got, Mr. Mac, between the Patriots and the Jets?
I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think the Jets kind of figured it out. It was hard to base them off of week 1. But Breece Hall is really good, and Aaron Rodgers is going to figure it out, and their defense is good. So I'm going to go Jets.
Yep, I agree with you. Jets, and the way you broke it down. No need to broke it down, you fellas. So 1 o'clock game is the first one on Fox. It's the Giants at the Browns.
Giants, bro. Let's go.
Oh, look at this guy. So confident. Sorry, Paul. Browns will win this game. 1 o'clock game as well. Your Bears at the Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, the Colts will get this one as well.
Bears can't get it in the end zone, man. Not going to win a lot of games. Going to get it in the end zone.
Nope. Texans at the Vikings. Battle of 2-0 teams.
Texans.
Sam Darnold's having
This Sam Darnold renaissance is got to end at some point. So D'Amico Ryan says he's about to make every quarterback hard. So I'm going with
right.
that.
Yep, I got the Texans in this one. All right, Eagles at the Saints. Saints are at home, 2-0. They're feeling good about themselves. Derek Carr had 433 passing yards in the last game, and the demolishing of the Cowboys. Are you taking the Saints again?
I'm on the Saints train, bro. I'm on the Saints train.
You on the Saints train?
Fun fact about the Saints. They drafted me 15 overall in Madden, coming out of NCAA 25. They let me be their starting quarterback. I took them to the playoffs. We didn't win. We lost in the wild card. So I took them to the postseason. So I'm forever indebted to the Saints. Go Saints.
There you go. Eagles bounce back. I'm playing my guy, and we're in the midst of I'm number one ranked seed running back for Mississippi State. So we'll see how that works out.
You better hope the Eagles can get pressure on Derek Carr, because if they don't, they're in big trouble.
They're eating, man. Yeah. All right. Chargers and Steelers. The battle of 2-0 teams again. Who you got? Chargers or Steelers?
Why is every year? I feel like every year I was just. How is Pittsburgh 2-0? I don't understand.
I'm trying to figure that out too.
And even the Chargers, like, they lost Keenan Allen, they lost Austin Eckler, they lost a lot of guys, but they're still balling. Jim Harbaugh doing what he does. I'm gonna roll with the Chargers.
Yeah, no, the Harbaugh pick, I thought would be a pretty good pick over the Chargers. I thought they would be pretty well. In my initial analysis of the Chargers, I picked them to be the battle of the second in the AFC West because of that Harbaugh move. So far, so good. And I got them beating the Steelers as well. 1 o'clock game, which I got to work. Thought about taking this off, but since I'm already going to watch them in Denver, Broncos at the Buccaneers. Paul go first. The Bucs will win.
Tampa Bay.
They look good.
A lot of people think they are.
They look good, man. They look good. My Broncos, I have no faith.
Going to Detroit last week, only give up 16 points. Baker all over.
I will say this, though. I hope we do catch them slipping. Actually, as a fan, I hope we do catch them slipping. They lit high and came back and beat the Lions, who a lot of people think that are going to represent the NFC in the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl. I hope they come in here big-headed. It'll be nice.
And if there's ever
some Bucs fans, it'd be
there's
great.
ever
But
a chance to catch them with their pants down, it's definitely coming off the revenge win against the Lions.
Absolutely. I don't want to hear them.
Tampa wins by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I got to hear the Bucs / Magic fans blow up my ass about, oh, you see your Broncos? I know they. Listen, man, I think they still going to get over 5.5 wins. I put money on down, so don't let me down, Broncos.
All right.
We got time. All right, the Packers at the Titans. The Will Levis experience. Oof, brother. It's It's gonna be a next Bryce Young, man.
Is Jordan Love still out?
Ooh. Let's look that up.
Otherwise, it's going to be a Malik Willis revenge game.
Yeah. Jordan Love status, injury update. Let's see what we got. Jordan Love, here's the latest on status of Packers Jordan Love. Technically misleading. I have no idea right now, so it's being very discreet about it.
All right, that's fine. Either way, they still got Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs had a hell of a game last week. So, as long as you're able to run the ball, I think you'll be fine. Malik Willis don't have to do too much. So, yeah. I'm gonna take Green Bay. I just something about Will Levis. Something about him. That puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I don't know. Something about that guy. Guy's sponsored by Hellman's Mayonnaise. I don't. So Packers.
Yeah, Packers win. I have no faith in the Titans whatsoever. Tighten up, tighten down, whatever they use, tighten up, tighten down. It doesn't matter. They're down.
Superior mayonnaise anyway.
Yeah. The Panthers at the Raiders. Oh boy. Oh boy. Any given Sunday, huh?
No.
Not with the Panthers.
Raiders. Andy Dalton when was the last time Andy Dalton even played?
I can't remember. It's been a minute.
A couple of years. He's bouncing around. He's been a couple of years. So the Red Rocket ain't gonna do it for him.
Do the unthinkable, Panthers, but I know y'all won't. Raiders win. Raiders will win the game. Dolphins at the Seahawks. Tyler Huntley is going to be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. Geno Smith is the starting quarterback for the Seahawks. Smith-Jigba had a good game last week, didn't he? Took off.
Yeah. DK Metcalf up a little bit too. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Miami's got problems. They got 99 problems, and we're gonna see what happens.
Man, Seahawks really got potential to lead the division. Have a really good cushion here starting off the year. Go 3-0 in that division, huh?
If only Jacksonville could have held it off week 1, Miami would be flirting with potentially going 0-3 right now.
Those dang Jaguars. Lions at the Cardinals. Lions bounce back.
Detroit's about to be real angry.
Yeah.
They're gonna be real upset. They're gonna bite some kneecaps. I'm gonna go with Detroit.
Dan Campbell's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it was up to him, he'll pull on the pass and run somebody over.
That's right.
Lions bounce back. Ravens at the Cowboys. Well, this game can tell you a lot, huh? In the early season of the NFL.
Who is it?
The Ravens playing on the road against the Dallas Cowboys.
This goes against everything I believe in. My current just mood towards the Baltimore Ravens, and then my just pure hatred for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna go
conundrum, huh?
I'm gonna go Baltimore because they are, I think, the better team. Mm-hmm. They should be able to beat Dallas. Seeing the kind of yardage they can put up, seeing what Derek Carr and the Saints did to Dallas. Dallas' defense isn't very good, so I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Yeah, this is probably the game that they bounce back with that running game that they want to be with the running game.
Yeah, if there's a team you can run it against, it's these guys.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Sorry, Pops. I know that's your team. Cowboys lose. The 49ers at the Rams. Divisional game in the NFC West. And the Rams are 0-for-2. They had a close game against the Lions in week 1. And then, this is a rough start for the Rams, huh?
It is a rough start for the Rams. But at the same time, the Niners don't look like the Niners, and I believe Debo's not going to play. McCaffrey's still out. I'm going to go with my heart. My heart says the Rams.
Your heart says the Rams. Jordan Mason had a big game last week, didn't he? Probably had another big game.
Someone's got to, because Brock Purdy ain't getting in the end zone, that's for sure. I mean, he threw one to Kittle, but
So Brock Purdy got all this nice Cadillac. Pieces are breaking down.
now he's driving a hoopty.
Now he's having the hoopty. Brock Purdy, let's see what you're made of, man. I got the 49ers winning. The Chiefs at the Falcons. This is your 8:20 game. This is your primetime game. Ooh, it's going to be a good primetime game. Okay.
Is it weird that I love Atlanta right now?
No, because I was going to pick the Falcons to win this game too. I don't know if you're going to make the pick.
I haven't been too impressed with the Chiefs. And the way they can run the ball with Bijan Robinson and the way they're playing defense.
The Chiefs' run defense is good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City. I think my thing is if it's a close game, Kansas City can make the plays. And if they jump out into a big lead, I don't know if the Falcons have the offensive firepower to get back in it. So the Chiefs have more ways to win.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Kansas City.
Man,
I love Atlanta. I don't know what the point spread is, but I love Atlanta.
Dirty Birds are on the high. They beat the Eagles in entertaining fashion. They got some mojo. They get the dub. They get the dub in the Mercedes-Benz.
You just want to see more. You just want to see more Kirk Chains.
That's right, man. That's right. Let's see what they got. 2 Monday games. Oh boy. All right. 7:30. The Jaguars at the Bills. Bills are 2-0. Jags are 0-2.
Another team can't get in the end zone. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, buddy.
They unveiled, what was it? Trevor Bank Field last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They stunk. I'm gonna go Buffalo. Buffalo just keeps rolling.
You know what's weird? Jacksonville actually played the Bills pretty well. Make you proud, kid. I'm picking your Jags. Jags can come with the upset.
Wow. What about picking with your heart?
I know, man. I know. I can come back and probably be totally wrong this week. But, hey, that's why we picked the win, baby. And your last game, 8:15 on ABC. Your Washington Commanders at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Might be the who gives a shit game of the week, honestly.
Oh, man.
Knowing that it overlaps with the Buffalo-Jacksonville game, there's no shot anyone's watching this game until either halftime of the Bills-Jags game or the Bills-Jags game's over. There's no shot you're going to choose that over that, unless you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow on your fantasy team.
Yeah, and if you're if the Bengals would have won that game against the Chiefs, they're probably more interested in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, man, that one's on ABC and the other one is on ESPN. Okay. All right.
If you got DirecTV, you can't watch either one of them.
Oh, they did agree to. They did come into a contract agreement, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got my dad's login and it came back on. But fantastic!
There you go.
Bootlegging stuff. Hey, it's all good. All right, well
I'm going Bengals. Same song and dance every year. They go 0-2, then they kind of get right. So Bengals.
Yep. Yeah, Bengals will bounce back. But I do believe Jaden Daniels will throw a throwing touchdown. He will get one this game.
How do you feel about Jaden Daniels' mom on the internet? You better leave her alone.
Oh, buddy. You
need to leave her alone.
I got words I can't say on the podcast, man.
That's somebody's mama, bro.
But respectfully, as she stick it in the Snicker, bro. I just say that respectfully. She stick it in the Snicker. Or as Mark Jackson said, respectfully, I know I hit it out the park. I am done. Before I go, more jokes. I have made a joke about Maya, and it was just a joke on Twitter. Close the podcast. Let's close the podcast. All right. Make sure y'all stay tuned with me and Paul next week. We'll be back at it to recap week 3. Hopefully my Google Chrome will be working and everything like that, and I can work with more stuff. But hey, technical difficulties, we still come up and rise up and get it done. So you can follow me on In The Mind CP. Give me your name, Mr. Mac.
Yes, sir. I'm on X at _Paul_Mac, and I'm on Instagram at thePaulMac520. And I created a little Twitch account, so I will eventually be streaming on Twitch at BIOC Pod. So you can go on Twitch. I'll throw Cortez to log in too. Maybe he streams some NCAA. I'm riding up the Madden ranks right now, almost to Elite Rank 1.
Nice.
Currently 20-8 in online Madden. So I'm doing my thing, and when it's basketball season, we'll have some NBA 2K. We're just having fun, man.
Just running, man. Excited to hear that. So, yeah, I'll be down to definitely stream some stuff too and see what y'all can laugh at me about. But hey, fun stuff. You can follow the podcast page. You go to BLC Podcast on X. We're also on you got YouTube BLC Podcast, Instagram BLC Podcast, Facebook is Balls Not Court Podcast, TikTok is BLC Podcast. Give us a like, comment, shout there. Follow the podcast where you get it. We're on multiple avenues where you can get the podcast.
So where you've watched or listened before, go there again.
There you go. So wrapping it up, keeping it tight. An hour, we got this show good. So due to the technical difficulty, we appreciate you guys staying tuned with that. And we'll be back at it next week. So speaking for Paul, Matt, this is Cortez, Paul, Balls Not Court Podcast. Take it to the house.
Trick Daddy.